You might as well just stop now. You're tired, and dude, you're not even good enough for this. Like, you're not a runner. Might as well just end the run and just go back to bed, okay?
Does that voice sound familiar to you? Your mind has a crazy way of influencing your decisions. The instant that we hear that voice of self-doubt, we listen to it and believe in it, causing us to want to give up. But we're here to tell you that you don't have to listen to that voice of uncertainty, and how you can even change that voice into positivity.
You got this! You're a runner! I know what you're thinking. A, you don't got this. Or B, you're just not a runner. But I want you to ask yourself, who says you can't do it? Who says you can't be a runner? Is it you, or is it your voice of self-doubt? I'm gonna be the first one to say it. I'm a wimp when it comes to running. If it's more than 75 degrees here in California, I don't want to do it. So a lot of times I'd make excuses like, it was too hot outside, I didn't eat enough, maybe I wanted to watch some Netflix. Ooh, sometimes I'd think I didn't have enough sleep, even if I had 8 hours. And I've got to admit, some days that voice would win me over. But most days I fought it. But I had a goal, and that was to run a half marathon. But I knew that if I skipped a day, then I'd probably skip another, and another, and another. And then the next thing I know, I just wouldn't have run a half marathon, or barely any running at all. You know how Nike has their slogan, just do it? That's literally the hardest part of the run. Just doing it. Getting up, starting it. Sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. If you just get out there and just start running, you're basically halfway there. And please, don't get me wrong. It's hard to keep running once you start running. And that voice will still linger in your head that you can't do it while you're running. But the more you do it, and the more you persist, the less it bothers you. How about you, Crystal? How do you deal with the voice inside your head?
Before training for a half marathon, I would always listen to that cynical voice in my head, and I would let it get to me, causing me to never be able to go that extra mile or pick up the pace. But throughout half marathon training, I discovered one crucial main thing about running. I went to bed one night planning on going on a 10-mile run the next morning, but I woke up with mosquito bites covering my arms and legs, as summers in California are not the nicest to me. Now, if you've ever been bitten by a mosquito, you know how painful those bites are. The burning pain from these bites was the first thing that came to mind as an excuse to not go on a run that morning. I took a moment to think, are these bites really that bad? Or am I just making up an excuse to not go for a run yet again? Most people would probably just take the day off and rest that day. But I had been making so many excuses prior to why I shouldn't go for a run. So I knew I had to stop that endless cycle and just run. So I did. The first few miles of the run were pretty difficult. All I could think about was the burning sensation from the bites and how tired my legs were getting. But I just kept on running. You see, I shifted my mindset. I told myself not to focus on the pain that I was experiencing, but rather on the trail ahead. I told myself to keep on running and to keep on moving my legs, and that eventually I'd make it past these 10 miles. As I continued running, I didn't feel the pain from the bites or the tiredness of the run on my legs anymore. You see, my mind was telling me to stop before and that I couldn't make it, but my legs, they kept on going. By staying focused on running and believing that I can finish these 10 miles, it naturally took away the pain that I was experiencing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that you should ignore any type of pain or injury, but that sometimes that pain that we're feeling and the intensity of it can be a huge element that our minds are making up. So even if you aren't struggling with bug bites, this just goes to show that running can be more of a mental battle rather than a physical battle. So the next time you're going on a run, make sure that you shift your mindset more towards positivity rather than uncertainty and doubt.
So on your next run, just remember this. Just start. With every step, you're that much closer to the finish line. Thanks for tuning in for part 2 of our half marathon training series. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.